Coffee operates in a highly competitive. Boss Coffee? Boss Coffee? How do you even say it? Well, Boss Coffee is one of Cebu's homegrown coffee shops and one of the biggest coffee shops here in the Philippines. But did you know that Boss Coffee started its first operations on June 28, 1996 with founder Steve Benetes with only a starting capital of 150,000 pesos. Steve Benetes bought his first coffee machine in Singapore and hand-carried it all the way to Cebu. Boss Coffee's first branch is a small kiosk in Ayala Center, Cebu. Just like in any other business, Boss Coffee had little to no profit at all with its first 2 months of its operation. But later on, Steve Benetes found a way to garner the attention of every Cebuano, to let them grasp the concept of coffee shops as it wasn't that popular during that time. He gave out free samples to every mall goers in Ayala Center, Cebu. And later on, sales were piling up. Now, later on, Boss Coffee garnered enough profit to open a second branch. Do you know where? In SM City, Cebu. Boss Coffee is a local brand having 120 branches in the Philippines and now is venturing globally, sharing the goodness of Philippine coffee, with venturing into countries like Qatar and Dubai. Did you know that Boss Coffee sources its coffee beans from mountains like Mount Apu, Mount Kitanglad, Mount Matuton, and mountains from Sagada and Benguet? Boss Coffee is proudly Filipino and will always be the best coffee shops in the Philippines. So now let's analyze Boss Coffee through the wonderful tool of Porter's 5 forces. Boss Coffee has a very high force of industry rivalry. Industry rivalry is one of Porter's 5 forces where it measures the intensity of competition in the market. There are numerous factors affecting the force of industry rivalry of Boss Coffee. As you see, Boss Coffee operates in a highly competitive environment where rivalry among existing firms is a major challenge. You see, the presence of numerous and well-established competitors, both international and local, is making it difficult for Boss Coffee to dominate the market. See, the coffee industry in the Philippines is now heavily saturated, particularly in metropolitan areas such as Metro Manila and Metro Cebu, where consumers have multiple cafe options in a walking distance. This saturation intensifies competition and reduces the opportunity for significant market growth. Compounding this is the low level of product differentiation, where most cafes offer similar beverages and services, making it hard for Boss to stand out purely on product offerings. Although Boss Coffee has built a degree of brand loyalty though through its focus on Filipino culture and local sourcing, this loyalty is constantly tested by newer, trendier, or more accessible alternatives. As we can observe, coffee shops are popping out everywhere, anytime, like day by day, and they're giving more trendier ambience, more trendier drink flavors, and more cheaper than Boss Coffee. Moreover, customers face virtually no switching costs, allowing them to move from one brand to another with ease. Price promotions, new store openings, and seasonal menus from rivals constantly lure away the potential of Boss patrons. As a result, the company must consistently innovate, enhance their customer experience, and strengthen its unique identity to stay relevant. The intensity of this rivalry force compels Boss Coffee to be proactive and agile in a fast-moving and a crowded market.
Hi everyone, I am Angel Tapia and I will be the one discussing the next force, which is the threat of new entrants applied to Boss Coffee. So in Michael Porter's seminal Five Forces framework, the threat of new entrants represents a critical analytical dimension, assessing the ease or difficulty with which new competitors can establish a presence within an existing industry. So basically, this force directly impacts the profitability potential of an industry. Now, the threat of new entrants for Boss Coffee in the Philippine coffee market can be considered moderate to high, driven by a combination of factors that both deter and encourage new players. In turn, let's first have the factors contributing to a high threat or lower barriers to entry. Number one is the relatively low capital requirements for some concepts. So while opening a full-fledged cafe like Boost Coffee can require significant capital for prime locations, equipment and staff, and online-only coffee businesses lowers the entry barrier. So this allows smaller entrepreneurs with less capital to enter the market. Number two is the growing demand for coffee. So the Philippines has a rapidly growing coffee culture and a strong demand for coffee, making the market attractive to new businesses. With that, this encourages more players to enter, expecting to carve out a share. And for number three, we have the accessibility of technology. We know that digital tools like online ordering apps, food delivery platforms, and social media marketing are readily available. So basically, new entrants can leverage these technologies to reach customers and establish a presence without needing extensive physical infrastructure initially. Lastly, we have the ease of sourcing coffee beans and franchising opportunities. While Boss Coffee emphasizes local sourcing, coffee beans, both local and imported, are generally accessible. So new entrants can find suppliers relatively easily, though building direct sustainable relationships with local farmers might take time. And for franchising opportunities, the growing interest in coffee franchises in the Philippines lowers the barrier to enter for individuals who want to open a coffee shop but lack the expertise to build a brand from scratch. So we are done with the lower barriers to entry. And now let's jump into the factors mitigating the threat or higher barriers to entry for Boss Coffee. Number one is the established brand recognition and loyalty. So Boss Coffee has been in the market since 1996 and has built strong brand recognition and customer loyalty, especially among Filipinos who appreciate its focus on local coffee. So basically, the new entrants would need significant marketing and differentiation efforts to overcome this established brand equity. Next is the product differentiation. Philippine coffee origins. So Boss Coffee's unique selling proposition of highlighting Philippine coffee origins like Sagada creates a differentiated product. New entrants would struggle to immediately replicate this specific identity and network with local farmers to same extent. Number three is the economies of scale and operational efficiency. So as a larger chain with numerous outlets, Boss Coffee likely benefits from economies of scale in sourcing, roasting, and distribution. So new entrants, especially smaller ones, would face higher per unit costs, making it harder to compete on price or maintain profit margins. And to make it short, we have the access to prime locations, supply chain relationships, customer experience and ambience, and potential for retaliation. To sum up everything that has been stated, Boss Coffee has secured many prime locations in high foot traffic areas across the Philippines. It has established relationships with local coffee farmers, which is a valuable asset. Boss Coffee often cultivates a specific ambience and provides a consistent customer experience across its branches. Replicating this, along with skilled baristas and efficient service, is a challenge for newcomers. In turn, new entrants may find it challenging to acquire equally desirable spots. To summarize, the influx of new entrants is primarily a threat to Boss Coffee's established market position and profitability. So that's all for this force, the threat of new entrants applied to Boss Coffee.
Hello everyone, this is Joseph Rendon, your next reporter. Now that we've heard enough about the industry analysis highlighting the threat of new entrants, I will now proceed to the third force of Porter's model, which is the threat of substitutes. Talking about this topic, we tend to look for answers about these four questions. Questions regarding what are substitutes? Why is it becoming a threat? What are the reasons or factors behind it? How do we overcome this kind of threat? To start with, substitute is a person or thing acting or serving in place of another. It is a common understanding that focuses on looking for alternatives to achieve satisfaction. For example, we have coffee and tea, butter and margarine, and many more. To continue, threat of substitutes refers to the possibility that customers might switch to alternative products or services that fulfill the same need, potentially reducing a company's market share and profitability. What makes substitute a risk is its potential in reducing the company's market share and, most importantly, reducing profitability. The next question is, what are those factors? First up is product differentiation. While Boss Coffee is focused on producing quality coffee, there's another company named Zeus Coffee offering the same product, but is using important ingredients attracting customers to buy because of its uniqueness. Also, other companies such as A Little Tea or Don Lemon, which offers milk teas and juice with different flavors. Customers sometimes may look for something different other than coffee, while still getting the same satisfaction, which is why product differentiation is one of the main reasons why it raises the level of threat of substitutes in a company. The next thing that influences the level of this threat is price. We all know that price is the amount of money required or given in payment for something. As for Boss Coffee, the price range for their products is 130 pesos to 250 pesos. It is true that it is affordable for some people, but we have to acknowledge that spending for something like that daily is not ideal for others. In fact, there are companies offering the same or different products at a much lower price. A 20 to 50 peso differential in pricing is a big impact for customers to switch from Boss Coffee to others. Customer perceived value or knowledge raises the level of threat of substitutes a company may deal, as it heavily influences purchasing decision. For example, customers might perceive Boss Coffee as a company having low value because of its low quality of products and services. In that, Boss Coffee may deal the risk of getting negative reviews and a potential loss in business. The last question that remains unanswered is how to overcome this kind of threat. Well, Boss Coffee has done a very good job dealing with product differentiation. They are now offering not just coffee, but also tea. In addition to that, they also have mouth-watering cakes and pastries which is best paired with coffee and tea. Not only that, Boss Coffee also included in their menu the breakfast platters and pasta. Boss Coffee have come a long way since they have started, as they are now giving customer loyalty cards, merchandise, and even promotions, enriching customer loyalty. Lastly, Boss Coffee uses a multifaceted approach to market segmentation, considering demographic, geographic, behavioral, and psychographic factors. They aim to be the leading coffee retailer in their target markets by focusing on the quality of their coffee and creating a unique customer experience. This involves understanding consumer behavior and competitor strategies to develop effective growth plans, including international expansions. That is all for my report. I will give you to the next reporter. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.
Hi, this is GAMBOA, and we're looking at how to perform an industry analysis using Porter's 5 forces. We are already halfway in our topic, so we're going through each of them step by step. As we know, Porter's 5 forces help us break down the industry and fully understand the degree or extent of competition. We're still using the same company, which is the Boss Coffee, and not to be biased, but it is my holy grail coffee shop. Without further ado, let's continue with the next step, which is the bargaining power of the supplier. So, this is important because the less power that supplier has over a business means, well, a better or an advantage of the business. Let's have an example to explain this simpler. So if we're running a lemonade stand, we know this is prevalent here in the city. Like everywhere we can see lemonade stalls, like Don Lemon, Mr. Lemon, name it. What I'm trying to say is that there are a lot of different places nearby that we could buy lemonades from. In this case, there are two things that could happen. First, it can be bought at a low price. Second, it is unlikely that it will run out. This is the same scenario with Boss Coffee, in which suppliers has low pressure. Boss Coffee proudly sources its coffee beans from various regions across the Philippines, emphasizing support for local farmers and showcasing the country's rich coffee heritage. The key sourcing regions include Sagada in Benguet, the Mount Katanglad in Bukidnon, the Mount Matutum in South Cotabato, and the Mount Apo. It is also growing with the coffee farmers directly that has helped it gain higher control over its supply chain. It eliminated mediators and started sourcing from the farm. In the case of Boss Coffee, they actually spelled it out quite clearly for us. They are a large customer, thus the supplier has low power. And now, we're down to the next force, which is the buyer power. Well, it has moderate to low pressure because Boss Coffee has so many different customers. The size of individual purchases is small, and so single buyers do not hold enough influence. Apart from it, the coffee brand has a diverse customer base. Its customers are mainly quality sensitive and willing to pay higher prices for a premium quality products. This has been ALDWIN, and let's proceed with the next reporter for the other forces.
And now we are down for the last part, Boost Coffee's corporate strategy. I am KIRVY TABORA, and this is my report. Boost Coffee's corporate strategy revolves around becoming a leading specialty coffee bar in the Philippines, focusing on high-quality Philippine-grown coffee beans and creating a welcoming environment for customers. This involves strong customer service, leveraging technology, and a focus on building relationships. The company also emphasizes a Pinoy pride and aims to provide a second home for its patrons, supporting local businesses and social enterprises. The focus of this report is divided into three. We have the vision and mission, the core values, and of course, the key strategic initiatives of Boost Coffee. Let us begin with the vision and mission. The vision of Boost Coffee is to be the premier specialty coffee bar in the Philippines, serving world-class coffee and pastries using high-quality Philippine-grown coffee beans. Its mission is to create a welcoming atmosphere for building relationships over a perfect cup of coffee. Now we have the core values. We have four core values. We have Pinoy pride, customer focus, quality, and innovation. By Pinoy pride, it celebrates the culture of the Philippines and supporting local businesses and social enterprises. By customer focus, it builds customer loyalty through excellent customer service and unique Boost Coffee experience. Quality, Boost Coffee prioritizes the finest quality coffee and related products. And by innovation, it utilizes technology in all aspects of the business, from roasting and blending to marketing and customer service. Now we're down to K strategic initiatives. Boost Coffee focus on customer experience, leveraging technology, building customer loyalty, supporting local business, and global expansion. By focusing on customer experience, Boost Coffee provides a welcoming and stylish environment for customers to enjoy their coffee and connect with others. Leveraging technology, using IT systems throughout the business, including point of sale, web and mobile platforms, and online payment systems. Building customer loyalty through consistent quality, excellent service, and possibly loyalty programs. Supporting local businesses, Boost Coffee collaborates with local coffee growers and potentially other local businesses. And of course, by global expansion, Boost Coffee now has already begun expanding globally with locations in Qatar and Dubai and is looking to expand further. So that's all for the corporate strategy of Boost Coffee. Thank you and salamat for hearing our report.